game number 2 between Karma on the left side and P.uri.tanner on the right side in blue. And this time around, the bands are KDA and Third US. We are on the lovely way of two ways. And Tanner stays with the 5th Panzer, whilst Karma is bringing around the 39th Guards Motor Strelky. Two pretty stock standard divisions. And that should be a good interesting game. Me-24Vs, BMP3s, and good amount of TDBs and T62s versus Leos in all shapes and forms, Luxus, a couple of Apaches, and a lot of Maunder 1A3s, which now, with the autocannon buff, are pretty darn solid again. 5 frontal armor is helping these IFVs out quite a lot. They're still pretty cheap for that, with 40 points, so yeah, Maunder 1A3s for sure. Quite the strong unit. This is most likely going to be a nice game once more here. SPG 9s, obviously, you can't forget about these. Yeah, especially not on two ways. On two ways, these guys have so much room to maneuver and sneak. Can be quite brutal. SPG 9, maybe a bit OP at the moment. Maybe a bit OP, but yeah, you have to for sure account for them. Apaches at least can hunt them down relatively efficiently. What's on the other side, Me-24Vs, for sure, will be around to stop those Apaches from doing anything directly at the front line here. Luxus and Eagers coming in. One Apache coming in for the south as well. As Tanner is trying to set up a surrounding alpha. On the other side, normal setup here from Karma in the south. Couple of units into the center. No direct push either. Couple of units to get around Delta, but no push into that zone either. In the south, in the center, not that many units either for either side. Actually, Tanner though relatively, like really light in the center. Only a Lux and a Jäger of Clara there. Whilst there's a significant amount of units for the north. It seems like Tanner expected a push into this part of the map, which kind of makes sense. Meanwhile, Su-25 rocket already out, and Karma is a magician with them, so let's see what they can do here. AA on the other side, down to 2 gay parts. Looks though, has to be careful already. Needs to smoke off. Can it smoke off in time? No, it can't. And that Lux is down. F4F trying to come for the Su-25. But F4F not the most amazing of fighters, especially not the version you get without any long-range missiles. The AM9L, really low damage and low accuracy AA missile against the armored plane is not the greatest of things that you want to have. 2 Su-25s now around. Apache rocket actually getting murdered here, and that is a bad start here for P.uri.tanner. F4F might at least help out killing off the Su-25. Oh no, it gets out of one hit. Really? Oh, that's bloody painful. Parts not quite able to get the Su-25 out of the sky there. This is really painful. As that thing will come around later on and haunt P.uri.tanner's units here on the battlefield. Center obviously in the hands of Karma, as Tanner's investment here was not all that big. SPG trying to hit the Fox in the north. But Tanner might be able to do a push through here. Has to get through this triplet of SPGs that hold the line there. F4F once more hunting down a unit here. Su-27 this time, but Su-27 is faster. So the F4F won't be able to catch up. Doesn't have any long-range missiles to fire. Really, the F4F with short-range missiles and its Vulcan gun are pretty painful to use. They're also kind of dirt cheap, but I can't make them work. Tanner made them work somewhat in game number 1. I'm really struggling to make them work in my games. SPG-9 gets the Fuchs transport panzer in the north. More SPGs moving through the center. Meanwhile in the south, Gepards disengaging. More Zwillings AA coming up. Su-25 flying around. Still trying to find a target. First couple of CVs coming online on both sides at the same time. But the center is in favor of Karma here. And this is going to be interesting. SU-25, just such a good plane here. But Tanner ramping up the AA setup. Leo 1A1's also made it down to the center, so the center is not fully uncontested now. But the T80BV outclasses them by a long shot. It's 15-7 versus 18-17. So two Leo 1A1s for sure not gonna win that duel. As the SU-25 also comes in to deal with the Jäger Aufklärer. And there's little there to help them. Ooh, SU-25 not running through though. So the Jäger will live for now. Another F4F is on the way to try to hunt it. But the Osa is on the battlefield, and that's most likely not gonna end well for the F4F here. Ooh, is trying to get the hell out of there, but the Mi-24V helping out with Igla there, getting the hit onto the plane, and the F4F goes down. Pretty painful there once more for Tanner. Bringing in the CV in the north. Kama currently up on a +2. But Tanner got 2 CVs in there soon as well. Third one coming up for Kama though. That's one is setting up for the center. Leo 1A1 going down to the SPGs here. Only the Leo 1A1s on their own here now. A couple of Zwillings MGs, but the center is not looking hot here for Tanner. Kama is in a really, really good spot now. Early game for sure not going Tanner's way at all. As the SU-27 AA is flying around. Leo 1A1 disengaging here. Saperi RPO and Motostrelki moving forward in the north. Mada 1A3 and Leo 1A1s could overwhelm this, but don't really have the recon for that. Fenchbeer now coming up, but that gives Kama time to reinvest there. Yeah, I think that's the way of how Tanner can create trouble right now. Like, he needs to realize that the north is wholly undefended for Kama and stir trouble up there, forcing units to be repositioned into the north from the center, or overwhelm this north completely. Southern side, I don't think Tanner has the forces here anymore to do much there, as the Leo 1A1s were repositioned into the center. Recall this rifle sitting around. Pioneer Handflam Patrone coming up, Marder coming up. The SPG is still firing up in the north, setting off a vehicle there. Ooh, Mi-24V firing a couple of rockets. Leo 1A1 over here goes down. T80BV and SPGs. Pretty nasty combo. The BTR should just directly move into the center here. Kama being a bit more cautious there, but no necessity for that right now. As we have a M113 recon around here. SPGs opening up onto the Panzer Grenadiers. Fanspeer trying to move forward. Trying to allow to spot the SPG over here. Original Podoritsky around here though, together with a Mi-8. Pretty fluent defense here for Kama. And these Originally Podoritsky can absolutely murder the Martyrs and the Leo 101s with the RPG-29 with a one shot, even frontally. So Kama is in a solid defensive position there by now as well. And this is really, really bad news here for Tanner. CV in the center. Still not moved in by Kama. Another one will move into the south though. So all the zones on the side of Kama will be captured, and the center zone should be captured any second now as well. Yes, Tanner is under heavy, heavy pressure here. Mi-24V moving around. Motorwatchvetka opening up onto the Pioneer Flamethrower. Mada 1A3 doing a good amount of damage to the Motorwatchvetka. Fortunately, Podoritsky moving around in the north. Could get a nice snipe here maybe. Onto the Martyr. Yeah, gets the snipe with the RPG-29. Could really murder all of these units here most likely. Before it gets killed there. Martyr gets the next shot but gets instantly killed as well. Leo 1A1 does smoke, does get away. Benchbear can win that, but yeah, losing two more important units that maybe could have allowed a push, but by now Kama is bringing in a significant amount of units here in the north as well. Ah, well, actually they're moving into the center. That means that the center is moving further and further away from being contested as well. BMP3s moving all around as well. BMP3s with their big gun, the 1mm, and their autocannon. Really, really good units here as well to use against Tanner. The 100mm, the 30mm, and this Suckloss, the Bastion ATGM are all really helpful. Pioneer Flamethrower getting overwhelmed here. Getting stunned down. That's another Fanspear will move in. Gepard moving in the north. Leo 101 sitting around there. 100 points for Kama only so far as the CV in the middle didn't move in, is moving in now though. And this is looking really rough here for Tanner. Not sure how Tanner is supposed to free himself out of this position. It seems like Kama is on a good way to the semifinals in this best of 3 here now. Yes. If he wins this one, it's over. Tanner with an amazing show in game number 1, but early game here just went pretty downhill quite quickly, and this is... Yeah, you have to get some magic happening here as Tanner. You have to get some magic happening here now. Get this turned around. I mean, it's still a good amount of forces here on the battlefield for Tanner, but the trades so far have been pretty abysmal. And ooh, another unit, not a bad trade here. And there's so many units here now for Kama. Like, Tanner has to capture Kama on some overextensions here. But that's the thing, Kama seldom overextends. So getting him to do it here now, and then also being able to punish it won't be an easy job. Benchbear trying to hunt down the units up in the north, not quite getting on top of it though. And yeah, by now the northern setup is pretty solid here as well for Kama, and the amount of units that Tanner has available here is just not enough to do any big moves. Whilst the center gets pushed further and further back, the AA gets overrun here. Only a couple of Gepards left. Apache trying to help out. Osa is in the rear though. Motostralki moving into this position as well. Could be stopped there maybe, but this is not looking hot. Gepard and M40. Okay, interesting movement into in the forest down here as well. Interesting position for Gepard as well. Osa coming in for the Apache. Apache might be in trouble here as well. Osa not quite getting the kill. Fanspear trying to hold the eyes open here. And BMP3 sitting in a nice spot. Leo 1A1 moving a bit further forward as Tanner tries to move a bit in the north. SU-25 is around though. No way. I know, one Gepard in the north, but that will take a while to get the kill there. And in that time the SU-25 might be able to wreak a bit of havoc there again. Marder around here. Couple of more recoilless rifles coming around. But when the other side has TADBVs and BMP3s, you only have a couple of Marders without ATGMs. A couple of recoilless rifles. That is not a great prospect. Leo 1A1's rolling forward as well. Might be able to help out with the Motostralki here. They come in onto the battlefield nicely. Benchbear gets caught by the SPG. Leo 1A1 should be able to get the kill there. At least that one happens, but there's still a good amount of units here now for Kama. +3 still happening. And yeah, Tanner kind of locked out of this game here right now. And Kama in the usual stranglehold that we see him quite often. Like in a lot of tournament games, we have seen Kama taking this position, and getting Kama pushed out of this position is a absolutely monstrous amount of work. So getting that done here now will be really, really tough for Tanner. Leo 1A1's moving forward. Me-24V coming in the north. The Gepard went down. Oh no. The Gepard went down in the north. This is really bad news now, as the Me-24V can bully this as well. Leo 1A1 goes down to the Ochleni Podovitsky. The Me-24, we can run this over now, and that was the one region where Tanner had a advantage. It's now in a disadvantage position as well, and Tanner does surrender, and yeah, that makes sense. Oh my goodness. I realized the KD would be one-sided, but I didn't expect it to be this one-sided. Karma coming in with a real show of force here in game number 2 with 1,835 to 230 points, keeping Tanner from really killing basically anything in this game. Not a single great hit for Tanner. Really rough game here with a pretty tough start already, and then Kama just kept on beating Tanner down and really showed why he is the favorite in this series. Oh boy, it's gonna be an interesting semifinal, as we're gonna have Leifens versus Kama in the top of the bracket in Division 1 now. And yeah, well played. Good games. Game number 1, obviously an absolute nail biter. Yeah, Tanner really playing well there, getting a lot of advantages, and then Kama with that one sneaky play and that one lucky D44 that got an absolute massacre on Tanner's units. And then here in game number 2, Kama with just absolute clean play, getting where he needed to be when he needed to be there, and destroying the opener of Tanner and destroying everything afterwards as well. Yep, really, really good play here from Kama, showing why he is the favorite, and that's going to be interesting. Yeah, Kama winning 2-0, moving on against Leifens in the semifinals, and that's gonna be a really, really good semifinals. Looking forward to that a hell of a lot, and yeah, we're gonna go now into game number 3.